welcome to Tasmania.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay.
Wonderful to be here.
Yeah. You're set at the task of answer the question, how do you improve packing house distributions and outcomes in onions? And all four of you who are on that panel made the point towards the end is be prepared, get ready for it, plan beforehand. You talked about it in particular terms when it comes to technology, and that's, I suppose, is the area that you're particularly involved with. When it comes to growers getting ready, getting involved, what's a particular message you would give to them?
Yeah, okay. So it's probably, as some of the other panel members suggested, like really good preparation early on, be really thinking of the sort of the whole farming system. And then when it comes to, okay, how are we going to, what's our plan for integrating, I suppose, technologies, whether it be autonomy, whether it be smart sprayers, lasers, whatever you might be focused on, how are we going to integrate that and adopt that into the company and the business plan, not from a capital point of view, obviously, but also from how do we actually integrate that? What's our sort of future strategies around technology adoption, and when do we start to make a move there?
It seems pretty clear, though, that while people have been saying get ready, it's coming, and they've probably been saying it for many, many years. It's not so much coming out; it's here. You're here with the Farm Droid, one piece of pretty whiz-bang technology, if I don't mind putting into those words. And it works pretty well, and we saw it in operation here today. But that's one. There's others out there as well.
Yeah, well, even probably as of 18 months ago, there were no laser weeders in Australia. Now there's maybe 4 or 6 or something like that. So that just shows you. And laser weeding had been talked about for at least 10 or 15 years prior to that. So it is here. Farm Droid autonomous seeder weeder is here. There's 4 of them now. We've just taken delivery into this country of the first eco-robotic smart sprayer, and there's other technologies similar to that really coming in hot now. Australia is sort of open for business, I suppose. We're a distant market, but a part of our work is actually getting out there to global manufacturers, pressing the case that Australia has got needs around input reduction, labour savings, and that we're ready to go. We have high quality farmers and we're producing great produce. And I think that the wave of tech is coming.
For onion growers in particular, how will that sort of new technology work? You mentioned sprayers and you mentioned farm drone. Is there other things out there that for that particular crop?
Yeah, look, I mean, it's pretty obvious here at this event, but previous events that a major pain point for onion growers is weed management. That's really probably number one on their list. Probably second to that is disease. So again, that sort of pre-harvest area in the field is where they're really looking for, I guess, relief and better outcomes in terms of yield and relief from input costs. So that's really where their focus is. It continues to be that. I think that's probably where you'll see, particularly for onion industry, and we've already seen with laser weeding, but I think you'll see more investment in that sort of that weed management and disease management area.
What's it going to mean for the changes, the way that they farm? And I'm sort of thinking as much technology introduction, sure, but the way that they actually set their farm up to work, the way that they might have furrows or fencing or that sort of plan.
Yeah, it's a really good question. I think it's going to be case by case basis, but there are some general take homes we've learned already, whether it be from laser weeding or farm droids or even smart sprayers, that they are going to have to sort of probably just change the way they think about weeding practices. So going early, going often, technology will allow you to do that. However, you've got to change, the way your teams or work crews have been sort of, dealing with that. So autonomous systems as well, who's going to manage that, when they're running maybe 24 hours a day, is there a plan for that? Are there skills within the business to handle that? And then really just farm layout stuff, headland management to allow autonomy, safe zones, all that sort of stuff.
You also made a very good point when it comes to drainage. Is this part of it as well? You made the point I thought was a good one, that no one has ever complained about putting too much drainage.
No, look, drainage is one of those things in our part of the world compared to maybe other parts. A lot of technology comes from California. California is essentially a desert and it does not rain a lot in comparison. So, drainage for us in Australia, certainly on the eastern seaboard, is a major thing. It comes back to that, even with the best technology, if you can't sort of just grow a decent crop due to other crop constraints, in this case drainage, the technology is probably not going to really save that crop or add to the bottom line. So thinking about all the precision ag type of approaches you can do around soil management, drainage, precision planting, are really fundamental to really a successful business these days.
Look to the future. Give us 10 years' time.
10 years' time, I think autonomy will be much more widespread. So whether it's autonomous spraying or autonomous, other operations, I think that will be fairly widespread. I think the case for that is fairly well there now. I think the technology is there. I think there may be some regulatory and sort of just general sort of workplace health and safety issues, but I don't see them as necessarily showstoppers. So autonomy to farms will be a big game changer. So that's really one of the main things. And then it'll just depend what's attached to that autonomy. Is it spraying? Is it lasers? Is it something else? Yeah.
The farm doors here now, the guys who've been using it mainly, I think, brassicas, sort of broccoli, baby broccoli, those sort of things. Is it just as adaptable for onion production?
It is, and it is used for onion production in Europe, where there's a majority of those machines. This particular machine, because of the size of onion seeds, tends to want to bunch a few seeds together and then plant those, rather than singulation, which is what we're used to here in Australia. So that if people would like, are considering using a farm droid for planting onions, yes, it can definitely do that. Will it be exactly the same as you're doing now? Well, at this stage, no.